Hey everybody, it's Linda Parker, and I am here with the Fearless Woman interview series, which you guys probably by now know what this is about, but I'm just going to recap it again. And we are talking to successful women who are going to share with you that you're not alone when it comes to limiting beliefs, self-doubt, fear, overwhelm, stress, all these things that we all have going on. But what we're going to do is be able to show you how you can overcome these things, what kind of actionable steps that you could take right now, today, or in the weeks to come, to help you move from where you are right now to where you want to be. So with that being said, I'm going to introduce my special guest today. It's Pamela Plick. Hello, Pamela.
Hello, Linda.
I'm,
Great to be here.
yes, I'm so excited that you're here with us, and this is going to be a really, really good one because you're going to be talking to us about the money aspect of all this stuff, which is amazing. I love that. So I'm going to tell everybody a little bit about you. Okay, so Pamela specializes in helping women find their money power, providing the education, strategies, and tools to grow financial confidence, security, and freedom. She is a certified financial planner. She actually opened up her own firm in 2011, and she has 25 years experience in the financial industry, plus you've got some other accolades too. You want to share a little bit more about that?
Okay, yes, I am also a certified divorce financial analyst, as well as accredited wealth management advisor, and I am a money coach as well.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That's so great. So tell us a little bit about how you got started in the financial, on your, teaching financial, that financial path. I can't even talk today. And just tell us how you got started.
Okay, well, actually, my journey started a little more than 25 years ago. Um, I actually had a question that I needed to answer. How can I become more empowered around money? At that time, I was going through a divorce. It was a really scary time because, my son was little. I needed to figure out how I was going to create um, a financially secure life for me and my son. Although I had just started in my career, had a great job, but still needed to learn those lessons, around money. So as I progressed through my career, I kind of immersed myself in learning everything that I could about money and finances, building wealth, all of that. And, so here I am over 25 years later, and working with over, hundreds of women. This is what I've learned. Basically, our personal relationship with money directly impacts how successful we are in business as well as professional women. And I think that's so important. We don't think about that, And so I made it my mission. I actually stayed in corporate America for 27 years and decided it was time to move on. I really wanted to have my own practice and do what I'm passionate about. And so I started my practice and made it my mission to help women find their money power. And so that's where it's kind of evolved a little bit over the years too, how my practice looks. But that's really what I'm passionate about. Even doing financial planning, investment advisory, I came across a lot of women who were not really even at that point yet where they could actually do financial planning or wealth building because they still had these money blocks, these issues related to money. And I really wanted a way to help those women as well, and so that's where the money coaching comes in. So wherever the woman is in her relationship with money, I really wanted to be able to help her, and I'm proud to say that I can at this point. So.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Yeah, I think that's fabulous, and it's really so needed for us right now too, because because there are so many more women that are stepping up and coming into the, being the breadwinner of the family, or as a single parent, being able to provide a better lifestyle, if you will,
Sure.
for your family. So let me ask you, so I'm sure obviously there is a connection between how we're thinking about money and what's actually showing up for us in our lives. So what is something that you could share with the audience that maybe you yourself, or what you teach your clients, how they can, what's one thing that they can start doing to help clear some of these blocks?
Well, one of the things that they can do is really understand that there are blocks, okay? Um, and then I think it's important that they understand, where is this coming from? Is it something that I self believe myself, or is it coming from maybe, what was imprinted upon me as a child? um, and asking, is it true or not? Okay. And you may not, a lot of people can work through it, but a lot of times they're not conscious. The blocks are not conscious, so you're not realizing that you have that situation. I want to give you an example of a lady that I met at a recent networking event. She was a successful businesswoman, ran a successful nonprofit, had no problem raising millions of dollars for other folks. Okay. But she got up and she said, I'm really good at raising money for other people, but now that I want to start a for-profit business, I'm really having a hard time receiving, because this money is for her, whereas the other money was for everyone else, right? And so, if we look back, we're going through the process and looking back, there's probably something in her past, her childhood, that made her feel unworthy, of receiving. Giving and receiving is a process, right? You have to be a gracious receiver as well as a giver. And so it's so interesting. Doesn't matter what lifestyle you have, what economic background you come from, everybody has something.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
it just depends on, to what extent, it might show up.
Right. And then how do you become aware? So,
Hmm.
um, what would be like one common major challenge or struggle that maybe yourself or your clients have when they're getting started trying to go through this type of process? And what do they learn from that?
Okay. One of the processes we go through, it is a core process that I take them through, 4-step proprietary process. But one of the things that we do look at is I have them do a money bio. And in that money bio, we talk about, what was your first memory related to money? It's interesting whether it was good or bad or not so good. I don't want to say bad, but every experience we have is making us who we are today. So what we perceive may not be so good. Also, by age, what do you remember related to money? What part did your parents play in that? Do you remember your parents talking about money? Did they fight about money? Or did they not even, do you even remember them talking about money, openly, and just bringing them up to the present. And it's interesting what emotions come up, especially if they grew up, someone may have grown up with what they perceived as lack, anger, sadness, you know, um, and it's not good to have unresolved anger. We kind of work through that as well. Where is this anger coming from? Exercises that you can do to forgive whoever you need to forgive, and it may be your parents, It may be a sibling, if the sibling was responsible for raising you, grandparents, whoever that might be, and yourself. Because a lot of times we are, hardest on ourselves. We can say, okay, well, we were kids when this happened, but why did I make that stupid mistake, as an adult? Why did I make that decision, that investment decision? And we have to have that same compassion for other people that that to have that same compassion for ourselves.
Yeah.
So that's kind of one of the exercises that we work through. And another one I think is really interesting is what we call the mother-father mirror. And we look at, what characteristics do you remember in relationship to money did your parents have individually? We talk about what your relationship, how you would describe yourself related to money, and who you most mirror and why. And that is just such an eye-opening exercise for folks. They don't realize, that, oh, my mother, I was really trying so hard not to be my mother that I married someone who was exactly like her, that kind of thing. So I just think it really helps. Then we bring that around to how it's manifesting today, how it may be keeping you from living the life that you desire. And so I think it's an awesome process. So
Yeah, no, it sounds amazing, and it's so true because I do believe that um, you know so many things in that, in money included, do come from our upbringing. We don't want to pay attention, or like you said, we always tell ourselves like, I'm not going to be like this parent or that parent or kind of thing, but somehow or another we always end up there, and we don't know why. So going back to your childhood and trying to decipher through that kind of stuff, I think is great. Those are great exercises. Those things are totally needed. Can you share with the audience for yourself, is there anything that you do on a regular basis, maybe, any type of um, tip or practical exercise that you do on a daily basis that helps you stay focused on your goals for yourself for financially?
I do. I actually I review my vision. We all know, especially if anyone has a business, you always know the importance of creating a business plan. The stuffy business plan with the goals and all that. But I attended a class a few years ago, and it was about creating a business plan, but from a vision standpoint. And it just really resonated with me. So I have written out, in all areas of my life, what my vision is. My goals are there, but how is it going to look 5 years from now? From the standpoint of what is my practice going to look like financially? What am I going to look like? Where am I going to be living? What kind of relationship am I going to be in? Just vision standpoint. And then I read that, especially when I start getting like, thinking, okay, I just can't do this today, then it helps me get recentered. And another thing that I do, this is one of my morning, spiritual practices. Each year I create a focus for the year. Like this year for me is living boldly. Okay, living boldly as a spiritual being and expression. Um, and then, but one year it was authentic. I am living an authentic life that truly reflects who I am. Okay, that's my theme for the year. And then I create affirmations in each area. A couple key areas of my life that help me stay focused on those things. And so I'm a big believer in affirmations. redirect those thoughts, and then also meditation as well. So those are kind of the practices that I do,
I love that.
every day.
So
Hmm.
then do you kind of like then you have your morning ritual.
I do. I
That's
do. And I know that I feel a little off when I don't have the chance to do my morning ritual.
right.
So I have to make sure that that's first thing. It gets me centered and grounded and ready for the day.
Yeah, so that is something, audience, ladies, that has been a reoccurring conversation with a lot of the interviews that I've been doing. And I think it's very important for people, for us to understand that even if you're just, even if you just start out with 5 minutes in the morning, get up 5 minutes earlier, do something, whatever resonates for you. Sometimes people, you know, aren't at the point where they can meditate, but just something. So I love that. And I think that that's key for everything, no matter, what kind of business you're in, you have to stay focused. And that's the other thing I was going to ask you. Okay, so that's right. So you were talking a little bit about when you made your business plan or your vision. So let me ask you, it's important for you, I'm assuming, to teach your clients and stuff like that, to do the vision like that so that they make sure that their business matches their core values, right? I mean, isn't that part of truly, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, having not balance, because, we never had balance, but
Right. Yeah.
harmony within their business and their life is if they're doing things from their core.
Yes, I agree. Now, when we're talking about the money coaching part of it, it's the personal side because I believe, you have to have a good personal relationship, with money, otherwise it will affect the business side. But specifically related to business, and I do workshops with entrepreneurs as well. I think it is so important that you focus on something that you are passionate about. Is it your purpose? you know um, because as you probably know too. I had a friend that told me being a business owner is lonely. It can be very lonely sometimes. So you have to remind yourself sometimes of, why am I doing this? What is your why behind it? You're not doing it just because, and it's not all about money. Whether you have a larger purpose, to a global mission or whatever it might be to help people. um, that needs to be part of it. And if your business does not align with your goals, if you're spending so much time on your business, let's say one of your values is your family. If you're spending so much time on your business that you are neglecting this part of your life, then it's not working together. You don't have, it's not meshing. I don't want to say balance because, like you said, there is no such thing as balance. But they're not meshing. It doesn't fit with your values. Okay, so that's where it starts. What are your values? What are your goals? What are you wanting to accomplish? And then what is the larger purpose, for your business, the big why for your business.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. That's so important. I love that. I'm just laughing, yeah, because I think it's so funny when people say balance, because I don't know anybody who has true balance.
No, but
Might have
if
some
you
harmony.
realize that,
Yeah,
it's okay. Then you say, okay, I know right now this is a busy time, but you know what? It's on my calendar that, next month I'm taking 2 weeks off or whatever it might be, to kind of readjust, because you really do have to, readjust at
right.
times.
And take some self-care. So that brings me into this next question.
Hmm.
So what do you do when you find yourself, when you're feeling overwhelmed or stressed? What do you do to, get yourself out of that so then you can return to being focused and moving forward?
What I do, like I mentioned, is the meditation. First thing is, if I have, like, that mind chatter starts to creep in, I'll say an affirmation in my head. Okay, because I have an affirmation for everything. you know. So I'll say that affirmation to kind of get myself redirected. Okay. If for some reason, it's not quite working at that point, then I will stop and I'll do kind of a mindful meditation, to get, to raise my, because we're all energy, right? To raise my vibration, and that usually that works for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, to clear out that energy,
Yeah.
to become in a higher space. So is there anything that you can share with the audience that you maybe in the last 5 years or so, a new behavior or habit or some type of practice that you've put in place for you, even or even with your clients from a money standpoint, that's actually had an impact?
Um, I don't think necessarily for me, not necessarily the last 5 years, but I think that just growing spiritually, you know, and increasing, my spiritual practices that I know that work for me, that has really helped me in my with my mindset, you know. And I believe in miracles. I'm sure you believe in miracles too, and so it's amazing how things open up, when you're open, when you have no blocks, so really focusing on my spirituality and growing myself spiritually to be the best person that I can be. In terms of my practice, I really, for the longest, wanted to look for a way to add more spirituality to my practice. And so I have found that with the money coaching, because it not only focuses on the practical side of finance, but also the psychological side. Although I'm not a psychologist, but it brings in the emotional as well as the spiritual side, and that just really excites me, and that resonates with the types of clients that I work with.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's I love that you're doing that, and I think that that's important, and maybe that's something that's missing, in the traditional financial aspect of business, is that nobody's actually out there teaching you, what I mean, where some of these
Yeah.
things are coming from, and I think that that's awesome that you're doing that kind of work. What is one piece of advice that you could give the audience, in regards to, their finances and money blocks and trying to get past all that kind of stuff? One a piece of advice you can give them, so that they could do something today, some type of action they could take today to move forward.
Okay. One type of action. I think first of all, it's important to understand, um, that you're being held back, and you may not understand exactly why, but you know that, and I'm sorry, my phone thinks I'm talking to it, which is weird. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, we're live, right? Okay. Um, Understanding what's holding you back. You can't put your finger on it, but you know that you are not achieving what you want to achieve in life, or it's not coming as easily, maybe, as you think it should be. So understanding that, and then kind of working through that. Maybe also, meditation is a great thing for that. Asking, well, what's holding me back? Just keep asking that to the universe, and an answer, will come to you. Okay. So I think that's number one. And I'm sorry, I can't stick to one. I'm gonna give you three, okay? So
Okay.
the second the second one is having a prosperity mindset. Okay. Um, and mindset prosperity is not about how much money you have in the bank. It's really just about, your mindset and knowing that you are positive, things are going well for you, everything is always working out for you. Okay. Um, and one way to do that is through affirmations. Okay, so when someone related to money, you know, they say, you know what, and I hear this all the time, even from women entrepreneurs, I'm just not good with money, you know. So when that chatter jumps in, you have an affirmation that says, I always make good financial decisions. So it redirects, you know, gets you out of your emotional brain, redirects it to your thinking brain. Okay. And then lastly, take inspired action, because we can know all of these great things, right? But unless you take inspired practical action, it doesn't work. So whatever that action might be, okay, getting financial education, getting the support you need to help you work through it, whatever it might be, take inspired action.
That's great. I love that. That's great advice. I love all three of those.
Okay.
So that's really good. That is awesome. So could you share with the audience what your free gift is for them?
Yes, I have an e-publication that's it's entitled 10 Smart Financial Steps for Savvy Women. And you know, you just click on the link and download it, and you have it at your fingertips. And it is practical. It's a practical guide to some 10 steps that you want, you know, as a woman, you want to take to make sure that you are you have a pretty good financial foundation.
Beautiful. I love that. Take advantage of that, ladies. Well, Pamela, thank you so much. I think this interview was awesome. I appreciate you joining us and sharing all your little nuggets and everything. And I hope you guys take advantage of her free gift. So thank you.
You're very welcome. So happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.